Can you see me? Probably. Can you hear me? Probably. But you can't taste, touch, or smell me. You don't know what you're missing. The reason I bring that up is because those 5 data gatherers, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, those 5 data gatherers, those 5 information gatherers, bring in all of that information of what you're seeing and what you're hearing and tasting and touching and smelling. They bring all of that information into your brain. Then you know what happens? Your brain starts to sort out, to delineate. I got a fly flying around me here, or a bee. Starts to interpret. That's what your brain does. It starts to interpret what that information means. And I've been talking to you about education, of learning. If I say dog, or in down south we say dog. If I say dog or dog, if you speak a language like English, for instance, that's an English word, you know what that means. But if I say mad dog, or if I say that dog bites, or if I say that is the sweetest dog in the world, it really is. Oh, by the way, we had to put a dog down yesterday, Tinkerbell. Some of you know Tinkerbell. So Tinkerbell started having seizures and just started every day, seemingly all day, and we just couldn't do it. I mean, we just did not want to see her suffer that way. And so we had to put her down, and I squalled like a hungry baby, and so did Mitzi. It was terrible. But you know what a sick dog means. You know what a mad dog means. If you saw Old Yeller, you certainly know. That dates me, doesn't it? You know what that means. And so we interpret what our data gatherers, our information gatherers bring in. And that interpretation can be spot on. It just depends. Depends on what? It depends on if you're seeing really what you think you're seeing. You may be seeing something that you think you're seeing, or did I hear that? What did you say? That kind of thing. In other words, we may think we see something, or we may think we hear something or smell something, whatever, but it may not actually be that. It may be we may be seeing something that actually didn't happen. Especially if we can't see very good, or especially if we have a presupposition of what we think probably is going to happen or probably did happen. Those presuppositions get us in trouble sometimes, expectations and so forth. But those interpretations mean everything, really do. And the interpretations come from our education of what we've learned and what we remember. I told you, memory is everything. Interpretation, based on what we remember about our education, about experience. So if I say, that dog bites, you go, oh, well, why? Wait a second here. And so that interpretation that you have in your head causes you to go, oh, wait a minute, put the dog up, or put it on a leash or something, And that interpretation causes you to have certain feelings, like fear. Oh my God. Or it causes you to have certain behaviors. So if you're wondering, like, why do I behave the way I behave? Or why do I feel the way I feel? Well, it's because you think the way you think. And the reason you think the way you think is because that's what you learned. You learned how to think that way. You learn to interpret life the way you interpret life. Now, I would say, I hope that most of the time you're spot on. But the truth of the matter is, most of the time, we're not spot on. Nope, we're not spot on. As a matter of fact, our opinions and our interpretations can be spot off. Now, that's something to think about, and I'm telling you. Because your behavior can be is a result of some interpretation that is spot off. And how do you handle that? When you realize that your behavior or your feelings are based on an interpretation that's spot off, about the best thing you can do is to say, I'm sorry, or I didn't know what I was doing, or if I can make it up to you, and then to learn from it. And remember, I said that.